past all of them as well. What a move to the 48. Oh, look at this, and onto the straight they come.
Brilliant move there from the number 40 to make it through. That left-hander sliding up the inside, going up now over Hawthorne Hill, down Pilgrim's Drop, and it's brilliant stuff here at Brands Hatch.
We're into the second half of the World GT Championship, and this week we're coming to you from Long Beach, and what a tremendous couple of races we are going to have for you here tonight. It's week 7 of season 16 of the World GT Championship. Paul Smith and Peter Mackay here on commentary, and Peter, well, we've got the joys and the challenges of this Long Beach street circuit.
There's nothing more fierce than Long Beach when it comes to difficulty out there on track. It's so tight around here, and the even slightest error and your race is done. It is so tough around here, and for the size of grid we have in the World GT Championship, it's going to be tight down through turn 1, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at my timing screen. 47 cars have been entered into this race. So 47 World GT cars heading down towards turn number 1, Peter. That's quite the sight.
What could possibly go wrong? You've got to think just how much real estate there is for 47 GT3 cars, and then how little there is in turn 1 at Long Beach. You've got to be there is an element of luck involved coming down through turn 1. You've just got to try and keep as safe as you possibly can. Once you get through that, then you can start to get into your rhythm. And this Long Beach circuit, once you are in that rhythm, there's not much to beat it, actually.
Well, let's take a look at the schedule of how things have gone this season. We started off in July at Portimao before Silverstone and Jerez, Zandvoort, Suzuka and Misano last time, which saw a brand new race winner in Victor Wolfson. This time we're at Long Beach. Next week we're at Spa for an endurance race at the newly renewed Spa-Francorchamps here on iRacing. Le Mans is going to be one of our special events before we then head to Barcelona, which Peter has been commentating on this weekend. Road America and Daytona to round out the season at the end of October. The championship, well, it is just 62 points separating Alex Davidson, and after the start to the season that he had, who would have thought that Jack Sedgwick would be up there in second place, but he's up there indeed. James Boumain's in third ahead of Josh Thompson, Dennis Grabowski, Victor Wolfson, Ross McFarlane, Anders Meyer, Nathan Moore and Michael Evdoka round out the 10 at the top of Pro. Pro-Am, it's 61 points that separate Michael Gray and his teammate at Full Tilt Motorsport, Paul Webster, with Jamie Rushworth just 3 points further back. Then it's Will Guthrie in fourth ahead of Adam Watson, the defending champion Adam Watson. Rhys Saunders ahead of Jack Osborne, Richard Simner, Leander Engelvelt and Nick Kirstens rounds out the top 10 in Pro-Am. In Am, it is just a solitary 5 points between Jonathan Walker and Jesse Payne Wilkins, with Ben Altria then 42 points off of the championship lead in third place. Simon Andre Livingston ahead of Ben Gregory, Adam Hedgecock, Ben Bennyworth, Mads Kelton, Andrew Fairley and Nathan Healy rounding out the top 10 in Am. 98 points then are between your two pro teams here, with Altitude Esports by Freeam and WSR Esports by Buttkicker. WSR Esports are in third ahead of Bayos Simsport in fourth, Altitude Esports by SimSickers in fifth ahead of Racing Lab Esports powered by Ford, sixth place. KRD in seventh ahead of Racing Lab Esports. Prestanda, Nomad and Atomic Esports Evo round out the 10 pro teams. The Pro-Am teams are led by Full Tilt Motorsport, who have got a commanding lead of 322 points over Altitude Esports by Mr. Hedge. Full Tilt Competition then are in third ahead of Full Tilt Racing in fourth place. DCW Racing and Atomic Esports are fifth and sixth, with Boosted Motorsport, Quaitabas Motorsport, Tech Sport by Academy by AMS and Writer Engineering Esports rounds out the 10 Pro-Ams. So, that is how the standings are at the moment, and already, Peter, I'm seeing in the YouTube chat a certain Andrew Fairley not agreeing with the choice of track. He's not enjoying this track. I've never really got on with this track either in any cars that I've ever raced around here. What about you, Peter? How are you feeling about tonight?
I absolutely adore this track. I'm jealous of the drivers. It's superb for me. You just get into a nice flow. I totally understand it if you don't like it, though. It's the sort of track, if you do like it and you get into a groove, there's nothing better. It just seems to flow corner to corner. But if you don't click with it almost straight away, it can get in your head, because it's so easy to make a mistake. But when you're just able to get in that groove here at Long Beach, it's just brilliant. And in a GT3 car, I think it's just about the right. It's the right challenge. In a prototype, it's just. Everything's happening so fast that it's so difficult to keep up. The GT3 car, I think it's just, it's more than quick enough to feel like you really are pushing on in between the walls, but also you can keep up with the car, and you've got the ABS as well. You can lean on that. That can be quite handy into the bumps as well. It's a very bumpy circuit, being obviously a temporary layout. It's fantastic. And then, you know me, I think we're both on the same page. We love racing history. There's a great history at Long Beach too.
Yeah, 1975 it held its first race around this venue, former Grand Prix venue. It actually appears in the music video to George Harrison's Faster. Song Faster. A certain young Bernie Eccleston is in that video as well. It's quite the thing to watch. After this broadcast, go and check it out, because it's a really good song as well.
Do you know who wrote it?
Go on.
Mark Stewart.
There you go.
Son of Jackie.
Yeah.
Master of going faster.
Yeah,
it was written about Sir Jackie Stewart.
Well, with Jackie Stewart as the chauffeur for George Harrison as well.
Exactly. He's the master of going faster. And sideburns.
Yes, I mean, it was always a competition between Jackie Stewart and also Emerson Fittipaldi, I think, for the sideburn challenge.
It was nip and tuck all the time. It was such a battle between them, and then they went out onto the racetrack. It was the battle of the barbers.
Yes,
Can you imagine them walking into their barber at that time going, oh, it's just everything else but leave the chops. Leave the chops. I've been working hard on them.
Well, I can tell you on my Twitch chat that Josh Thompson's just jumped in and said, broke the front right in qualifying, had no front rights turning in, a long night ahead. I think it's going to be a long night for some people out there. Qualifying is coming to a close, so we will be able to go through the starting grid in just a few moments' time. I'm looking forward to this one. 2 45-minute races. And let's not forget as well, there is the reverse grid draw that takes place here to decide the grid for race number 2. So, as they will line up behind the iRacing Porsche 911 pace car, here we go then, and it is an all WSR Esports front row. The book kicker team represented by Alex Davidson, your pro championship leader. Ethan Critchley, front row of the grid. It's been a while since we've seen him right at the front row of the grid, so that's a really good qualifying. And then second row of the grid, your top pro-am of Adam Watson. I know he really likes this track, so watch out for him. Ross McFarlane sharing the second row of the grid with him. Michael Gray and Alex Sliptrovich on row number 3. Row 4 then for James Boumé and Michael Avdoka. The 5th row, defending champion Jack Sedgwick alongside Gabriel Erdelai. Anders Meyer and Alex Gall, 6th row of the grid for them. Will Guthrie and Dennis Grabowski then on row number 7. Row 8, last week's first-time victor in Victor Wolfson. He's sharing that 8th row with Jamie Rushworth. Phil Samways and Nathan Moore then on row number 9. The 10th row of the grid, Bacon Zelenka, and then the first of your AM drivers, Jonathan Walker, pole position in AM, 20th on the grid. Jesse Payne Wilkins, championship rival, right behind on row number 11 with Paul Webster. And then it's Josh Thompson and Andrew Fairley on row number 12. Row 13 for Matthias Temme with Harry Langford alongside them. Mike Barber and Andy Archer then sharing row number 14, with the 15th row shared by Chris Chatterton and Jack Osborne. Mike Horder and Richard Simner then share row number 16. Behind them is Josh Boot and Reece Saunders on row 17. Row 18 for Ben Altria and Ben Gregory. 19th row of the grid, Ben Hackerson and Adam Hedgecock with Simon Andre Livingston and Lenga Angelvelt sharing row number 20. Row 21 is Nick Kersons and Ben Bennyworth. Then the final few, row 22 for Ian Brown and Andy Jones, Joe Newman, Taylor Lane on row number 23, and all alone on row number 24, Nathan Healy. So, the drivers head on through their pacing, I'd say over half a lap, down the back straight. This is one of those sections where you can put pressure on and start making a move, lining people up for a move into the hairpin, but overtaking opportunities, Peter, into the hairpin, into turn 9 at the end of the back straight here down Seaside Way. Turn 1 potentially as well.
Turn 1, yes, is possible. You've got to have a pretty good overlap, be up the inside, but make sure you've got the move done well. You cannot do a kind of 50-50 dive bomb into there, otherwise it's going to go horribly wrong for both concerns. So yeah, overtaking opportunities here are not ample. This is all about not making the mistakes and taking advantage of other mistakes.
Oh, we've got contact already into the hairpin, and we've not even started the race. So this is what happens here. Green flag in the air. We are underway here at Long Beach, and it's a good launch from Alex Davidson ahead of his compatriot Ethan Critchley, heading down towards turn number 1. Ross McFarlane's got the jump on Adam Watson, but Watson's not going to give that one up, not without a fight in his Audi. Through he goes on Ross McFarlane to take his 3rd place back into the fountain section for the first time. This is where things can get a little bit gnarled up and a little bit schmozzles going on out there, but so far, touch wood, so good.
Brilliant stuff from the leading bunch there. The kind of top 20 or so have all got through there clean. That is an achievement in itself. It's so narrow through here, through that first section at Long Beach, as they all filter the way through. Jack Sedgwick making a move in the Inex Ferrari down Seaside Way and into or onto Seaside Way, excuse me, Pine Avenue, and then onto Seaside Way. That's why I always need Google Maps. Straight up to the right-hander at Firestone, and then into the Indy left, and the probably one of the tightest hairpins anywhere in the world. The Audi diesels in the American Le Mans series actually had to bounce off the wall there to get round. It was so tight. They just did not have the lock to get round that hairpin.
I would say that and Macau for the tightest hairpins in motorsport.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. We have had one issue for Paul Webster. He's all the way down to the back of the runners. We've got a car onto pit road already. What on earth has happened there? Don't say there's... Oh, Jonathan Walker, Andrew Fairley have both got a mechanical meatball warning flag. We've also got Jesse Payne-Wilkins onto pit road as well. Well, drama on the first lap then, but yeah, as I say, Paul Webster all the way down at the back. I think he got caught up at the fountain.
Well, that's 2 front runners in the AM Championship, Jonathan Walker and Jesse Payne-Wilkins, having to take pit stops early on, which means they will not get home on that tank of fuel. Of course, the normal pit stop strategy is 1 stop. They will have to stop twice, which here at Long Beach is quite punishing. It's a really awkward entrance to the pit lane as well. You've got to get out the hairpin and immediately pull over to the right and slow down and get into what is a really, really narrow entrance to pit lane, so it's tricky.
It is tricky indeed, yeah. As I say, I've never got on with this track myself whenever I've raced here. Fun fact, in all the races that I've done here, I have never gained a position. That's my fun fact for the day. That was Paul Webster trying to take advantage of going around the outside of 2 others going side by side. 3 into 1 generally doesn't go through the fountain.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. That's one of the iconic sections of the Long Beach circuit, and you're just trying to carry the speed as much as you possibly can, and you're just daring yourself to go closer and closer to the walls without touching them. That's the thing, is use as much of the track as you can without hitting the wall. That's the great challenge of Long Beach, and particularly coming around that left-handed there at Tecate turn. It's so easy to actually get it a little bit tight and clip the wall. It's sort of jinked. There's a little sort of sticky out bit that's really, really easy to catch. So you've got to know the circuit well, and there's no substitute for laps around here in practice.
Ben Gregory goes for a spin in his Corvette. Ian Brown, another vet. That just suddenly snapped on him. It was almost like his traction control got turned off, didn't it? The way it just snapped round on him.
It did look like that. It did look like that. Just as soon as he asked for the power, round it went. And yeah, it almost like it had just no rear tyre temperature. And yeah, the rear end just would not stick at all. But 2 altitude Audis switching there, James Brume going past and past Axel Slipchevich and through. Oh, was that a wee scrape?
Brume nearly threw it away at turn 1 in that tyre wall. Very easy to stick it in that tyre wall, and yeah, as they go through them and they carry on to survive just for a little bit longer. As we go through now, Jack Sedgwick, he's trying to work his way forward. He's +1 position in this race. Victor Wolfson's gained 4 places so far in this race in his Bayos SimSport Ferrari, so he's doing not too bad out there. Nick Kirsten's, because of all the shenanigans that were happening further down, he's up 10 places so far in this race. Josh Thompson, to keep a track of him, he's up 3 places at the moment, but yeah, he said it's going to be a long night ahead for him after his qualifying antics. Maybe hoping for a good reverse grid draw for race number 2, perhaps.
Well, that's what you got to hope, yeah, because grid position here is everything. Qualifying here is one of the most important of the season, because if you're stuck back, you really are in big trouble. Josh Thompson, as he mentioned, you know, he said it's going to be a long night. It is if you start from deep in the pack. He's made his way up the order though. Where has he got to? He's up to 20th, so he's already climbed 3 positions. So there you go. Someone of Josh Thompson's caliber, 3 positions in 6 minutes. Usually on a traditional permanent circuit, you'd expect him to have made a lot more positions than that, but that's just the nature of the circuit.
It certainly is, but he's got a little bit of clear air ahead, so he can get a little bit of a head down start pulling forward, and he has got Matthias Temme right behind, who's been following him through the traffic here in this one. The next car ahead of him is Nathan Moore in a WSR car, so that'll be a bit trickier to get past in that Porsche. I have to say, Alex Davidson already is looking comfortable at this track, 1.5 seconds ahead of his compatriot from WSR Esports, Ethan Critchley, who is looking fast this week.
He is, yeah, and to be honest, there's not many race meetings where he looks off the boil. He's always got good pace as Ethan Critchley. And yeah, looking strong, sitting in second at the moment. And tell you what, with Adam Watson as well, I mean, he's had a mixed season, shall we say, and yet he's still in touch in the championship. He's 5th in the championship. He's at this stage, he is still in touch. But amazing job. I mean, there's only 2 Pro-Ams in the top 15, and he's in 3rd, so some effort.
Yeah, and he'll be looking in his mirror and thinking, oh, why does Michael have to follow me? Because Michael Gray has been having a really strong season so far in that first half of the season, leads the Pro-Am Championship, and it's performances like this that he's been able to produce multiple weeks is really helping him out. Although this, I would say, is Michael's strongest showing so far in on raw pace, I mean, not looking into a reverse grid.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you qualify well and you keep clean, you're going to get some, unless we get a complete reverse, which we haven't had all season, you're going to be thereabouts for race 2 as well, and you could get a real jump on your rivals. Great shots here of just what it's like is big understeer there for Michael Gray. I just tried to carry a bit too much speed there through the fountain section. But you're just on off the throttle all the time. Full power brake, turn in, don't hit the wall. Carry as much speed as you can. Watch for the bump, braking hard, and then, see, there you go. You're just getting it so close and then running it all the way out to the wall, carrying as much power as you can, as much speed as you can. And then this corner here, turn 8, it's so easy to get caught up there.
Yeah, it's so easy to just slide that little bit into the wall and cause yourselves all manner of grief there. So yeah, it is it's a rewarding track when you get a lap right, and it's not often that you get a lap right around here. But when you do, certainly I struggle with that. But when you get a lap right around here, it's so rewarding, and you think, right, I've nailed it, and then the next lap you go and stick it in the wall.
That's why I think some people don't like it, where they maybe get disheartened, but I think you click with it straight away. It's just I love it. I love the flow of this circuit. You just get into this rhythm. I found it's always boosted my iRating, but often not by overtaking anybody. In fact, always not by overtaking anyone. Just qualifying sort of mid-pack, let everyone else crash and come through and pick up some iRating. But that was a while ago now. I need to get back going again. Yeah,
I've been stepping back into the the virtual Porsche 992 GT3R. And I've been having good fun on iRacing in that car. We were looking at Chris Chatterton and Mike Horder, who were 22nd and 23rd respectively, but just a little bit further down we've got Ben Altria and Rhys Saunders. Now Altria has got damage to the front end of the car at a track where a lot of sort of low speed right angle corners, you don't necessarily need the aero grip from that air dam at the front of the car, although it does help guide air into various ducts and other around the car, doesn't it?
You'd rather have it than not, that's for sure. Yeah, there's not many fast corners here at Long Beach. There's a lot of technical stuff, a lot of slow speed stuff. What you need here is traction, good braking and traction, so it's not a surprise to see two Porsches leading the way. And remember the comment that Josh Thompson made at the start of the season, that you know that the Porsche and particularly the Audi have fantastic out of the corner traction. And look with the top, you know, the top positions, it's Porsche, Audi, Porsche, Audi, and then the first of the Ferrari is the defending champion Jack Sedgwick. So that tells you all you need to know about what cars this Long Beach circuit matches well to.
Yeah, one car that I am a little bit surprised by is Anders Meyer in 13th in his Ford Mustang. That car doesn't necessarily feel to me one that would be suited to having to have quick change of direction on tight corners. It's a longer wheelbase car, it's a big lump of a car, but Anders is getting into the knack of driving this car after driving that BMW for 2 seasons.
He is, yeah, he really is. Yeah, I must say. I mean, it's a similar recipe though. Big GT car, front engine. So in balance-wise, it's probably not going to be a million miles off, but certainly power delivery will be quite different. The small capacity turbocharged BMW is quite different to the large capacity naturally aspirated Ford. So, but it's just great to have this Mustang GT3 machine. And of course it sounds absolutely glorious.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's one of those cars that if you stand tracks, I mean, I've not seen one of these Mustangs racing personally, but I just get the I imagine that you can feel it as it goes past. It's one of those cars.
You can, yeah. It's going to pick up the mantle of the Mercedes AMG GT3, I think. That thumping V8 in the front of the Mercedes. The Ford's definitely up there. It's got a higher pitched tone than the Mercedes. It's not as kind of as boomy as the Mercedes. It's got this kind of it's got a howl to it as well. It's a really characterful sounding car, definitely. And it's got presence on track.
Yes, you can't miss it, can you? That's for sure. It makes its presence known. It's quite an aggressive front end. Now Alex Gall has decided now's the time to pit. Does Alex Gall know something that we don't hear? Is he feeling that he was being held up by it was Victor Wolfson in front of him? Is he feeling just to get out of traffic and to try and get some clean air? But I'm looking at a track map. There isn't a lot of clean air out there.
No, there isn't, as Michael Gray puts it in the wall. So Michael Gray dropping down the order, he's down to 13th. No, I agree with you, Paul. There's not a great deal I mean, the whole circuit is busy with cars right now, but Michael Gray has made an error, and that has released Adam Watson in the battle for the Pro-Am. And Adam Watson, if he can hold on to us, just get through the next half an hour, accident-free, incident-free, he can get a massive jump on his rivals in the Pro-Am class.
Do you want to know something even worse for Michael Gray? He's got the mechanical meatball warning flag as well. It must have been a fair old thump on that wall. And so, he is going to have to... Well, if anything, he's looked in that he's at the right time now where you can make it to the end on this one pit stop. That's one advantage of having that instant now.
Definitely, I was thinking exactly the same thing. You know, if you're going to have it when you can pit and not have to pit again. So Michael Gray will be able to take the fast repair. So it might not cost him as much as it would have done. Josh Thompson coming in as well in his Ferrari. So Josh Thompson decided to try and throw the dice here. I think if you're running further down the order like Josh is, you've got to throw the dice and, you know, and try somehow and try and get that pace down and try and pass people while they're in the pits. It's certainly the easiest way to pass people. So maybe that's the theory that Alex Gall and Josh Thompson are thinking about.
It's Wolfson with a little wiggle as he came through turn 5. Here's what happened to Michael Grayton. It was a car coming out of pit road. One of the other Mustangs. Was that John Newman? No, Harry Langford. Oh no, I was right, Newman.
That's very, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating for him.
It's a tricky pit exit here, I will say, because you have to go right to the end of the pit exit line. You can't cross that line, so you're quite late into turn 1, and you're merging in right on the exit of turn 1.
It's awkward. It's really awkward. I mean, like most you know, temporary street circuits are that way. You look at Monaco's like that, Macau's like that. Is Joe Newman actually having to do a bit of an Austin Powers to turn around. That was a strange one there.
I think he turned in, realised that he wasn't going to make it, and then went, "Yeah, let's bail."
Yeah, very wise, I'd say.
Right, Adam Hedgecock, Lord Hedge himself, down in 31st place. He's behind Alex Gall, who was pitted. So Gall has got actually a nice gap in front of him right now. He can get some laps in here, and maybe that he's sort of looked in, because there seems to be quite a few packs of cars and then little gaps between them. He seems to have looked into a nice gap that he can get his head down and put some laps in now.
So yeah, he's into the groove now, Alex Gall, and we know how quick he can be in that Ferrari. So yeah, he's kind of our guinea pig as the first driver to pit. He's really pitted at the first possible opportunity in terms of getting home without any further pit stops, and we know how quick he can be in that Ferrari. Let's see, with 27 minutes to go, how far up the order he can get.
Alex Davidson leads by 2.6 seconds over Ethan Critchley at the front. Adam Hedgecock still in third place. Adam Watson still in third place, but he's got the attentions of Ross McFarlane right behind him. He's got Ethan Critchley in front, Ross McFarlane behind. If ever there was an altitude esports sandwich that you don't want to be in, it's where Adam is right now, because, well, remember last time at Misano, Ross McFarlane and Adam Watson got into a little bit of a dust up there at the hairpin at Misano. So they did, yeah. So they did. You sometimes lose count a little bit of the dust ups that Adam Watson's had. Bless him. But you know he can hold his own. That's for sure. He's right in there behind Ethan Critchley, Ross McFarlane behind him, and yeah, like you said, there's been they have history. They have previous to Watson and McFarlane. There was a boosted car making a move behind these. It was Ben Gregory. Oh, Josh Thompson forcing his way past Anglefelt then. And this is where Josh doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be in traffic. He's left traffic by going into the pits. The problem is he's come out in traffic now. So he's the opposite of Alex Gall right now.
So yeah, that's not good at all for... not good at all for Josh Thompson there. He's going to try and make a move here on Ben Gregory, though, as they rush down through towards turn 9, Firestone turn, and levels on the brakes there. Does Josh Thompson, and through he goes, and Gregory doesn't fight it too hard, and through goes Josh Thompson. That's a perfect example of, if you've got speed, that's what you can do at Long Beach, but you have to really set the move up and be decisive and really kind of have a little bit of an overlap in pace to be able to do that.
Yeah, you certainly do. You're absolutely right. Mark Fletcher telling us in the YouTube chat he'd pick Adam in any dust-up. So there we go. Team Boss has spoken. Oh, move to the inside and clattering the tyre barrier there. Oh, dearie me. It's not been a good season, I have to say, for Ian Brown. and he found the tyre wall. Fortunately, it was the tyre wall, not the concrete wall, and he hit it rather perpendicular to it as well, with Josh Thompson now right behind him.
That certainly helps. If you're going to hit the wall, make sure you just brush it. Oh no! Wow.
That's
surely that's
the
contact in the wall. Surely.
Oh, now Josh will be fired up by that. He will not be happy, I can tell you. Yep, terse flash of the headlights.
Yeah, Ian Brown. Just shut the door pretty abruptly. I mean, you know, the thing is, you cannot expect drivers to jump out the way. That's the thing. You've got to try and adapt and anticipate what they're going to do. I mean, I'm sure Josh feels that Ian shut the door pretty abruptly there. Ian probably thinks I was running my line. The truth's probably somewhere in between.
And the thing is now, if Thompson's got damage, you're going to have to carry that for 24 minutes. Oh, that's a bit of a dive, Josh. You're never going to make that one stick. Good grief. Oh, dearie me. I wouldn't mind seeing that first instant from Josh Thompson's point of view, just to see how far alongside he was, because to be fair, you've got to be so far alongside to make a move stick, and you can tell Thompson is quite angry. He's going for the same move again, and this time he's alongside. Ian Brown gives the space. Thompson leaves him just about a car width and a half on corner exit.
Yeah, best not to try and pick that fight again. As Ben Gregory though is going to try and take advantage, and Ian Brown, that abruptly comes across to defend. I mean, I would say maybe a little bit too aggressive there from Ian Brown, and Ben Gregory on the headlight flasher as well, as they go side by side, Corvette versus Corvette. But Brown takes the position back again. Ooh, it's getting fierce there.
Feisty. That's the word I would use there as somebody comes onto pit road. Now that's Ben Bennyworth who's decided to head onto pit road right now for their pit stop. 22 3/4 minutes remaining here. Ben Gregory versus Ian Brown, and Gregory's on the outside into turn one. Is he going to try and carry the speed through? Yes, he can. Still leaving each other space, and through goes Gregory. That was a nice move around the outside, but to be fair, Brown also played ball and gave the space in that one.
So Ben Gregory on the move forward then in that boosted Corvette C8R. Very Z06 as well. Don't forget that part.
As we're starting to get one or two others onto pit road, Chris Chatterton has now decided that it's time to come onto pit road. I was going to ask you this a little bit earlier, Peter. Strategy-wise, if you're up near the front, are you basically waiting until you meet traffic and then pit, or are you maybe Paul Webster? Oh. We'll get back to the strategy call in a minute, but Webster's back in pit road having taken a tour, so I think that's race done for him. But if, for example, if you're up at the front, Peter, you're Alex Davidson, are you just waiting until you meet traffic and then pit, or are you going as long as you can? Well, how do you play it out here?
It's very hard. It's very hard to say. I mean, I think if you feel like you're really getting held up a lot, spin for Phil Sandways as well. I think if you're getting held up, you might want to try and jump out of sequence and throw the dice a little bit. But I think if you're in a fairly similar pace to the car in front, I think you try and get fuel saving done and try and go a lap longer and jump in the pit stops. We've seen James Boothmay do that very effectively on several occasions this year, where he's gone a lap or even 2 laps longer than everybody else, and that's been to his benefit massively. So this is a circuit as well where there's a lot of potential time off throttle. There's a lot of braking zones where you can lift and coast and develop a better fuel number. So that you've got a couple of options depending on, I think it really depends on how you match up to the car in front in terms of pace.
As we look to Ethan Critchley, Adam Watson, Ross McFarlane, Then there's a lap car, one of the DCW cars between them and James Boumé. And again, Boumé's just loitering around in the top 5. He's won a championship here in this series previously, a couple of seasons ago. And he knows what it takes. It's a very difficult task to win a championship in this series. I mean, look at it last season, Peter. I mean, pretty much every season we see it go down to the last round. Last season, even more so.
Yeah, we have, haven't we? It's you've just got to never give up. But keep on trucking. Don't, if you have a bad race, don't just pull the car over and give up. You've got to just try and grab every last point you can out of every situation. And keep it out of trouble. I mean, that's what it's been. That's why Alex Davis has got his championship advantage, is because he's just kept it so clean. He's had great pace as well, of course, but he's just been so consistent. As Alex Gall's going for a move now, he's hit a little bit of traffic and he moves up into 27th place.
Yeah, that's up ahead of Ben Altria then as they go into that tight hairpin. Nick Kirstens is the next target, although he goes off onto pit road, so decided that now's the time for Nick to pit. So that means that Alex Gall's got Simon Andre Livingston as the next target up the field. But as more and more people pit, that means that's more and more positions that he's gaining back from him having that early pit stop. What we're on lap 10 of his stint right now for Alex Gall.
So was that the right call or not? It's so difficult to say at this point. We'll see how it shakes out over the course of the race with 18 minutes left on the clock then. And Alex Davis, I mean, cruising away at the front, nearly 6 seconds to the good from his teammate Ethan Critchley, who has Adam Watson right in behind him and fighting for an overall podium in race 1. We've seen it done quite a lot in race 2, but in race 1 to do it on pure pace where you've got to qualify up the front, this is mighty impressive stuff from Adam Watson. But Ross McFarlane, former multiple champion, 4-time champion, all over the back of him, and well, ding ding, round 1, here we go, and McFarlane getting closer and closer all the time.
Adam Watson taking different lines through Sate turn onto Pine Avenue compared to the two Porsche-driven WSR cars, and maybe not quite working out for Adam compared to Ross. There you see that wide line in. Oh, there's that contact between him and Ross McFarlane. Oh, Adam Watson right in front of everybody. I know you're wanting to get going again. Oh my goodness, well, I think he'll go straight into the pits. Yep, there he goes, but it was that wide line in. I think it was just the slightest of touches with Ross taking that tight line through the hairpin.
Oh, we'll get another look at it for you, but yeah, drama here. Let's have a look then. No, to me, that just, Ross doesn't anticipate that right at all. He just goes into the back of him. If you're the car behind you, just cannot. The rejoin was awful, I agree, but you just cannot. If you're the car following, you have to give enough room, and that's at the point where the car is loaded up, and if you tap someone in the rear, they're going around. And Ross was lucky he didn't get tangled in that, and it was Adam that paid the penalty. But no, absolutely no fault. I don't think that was anything to do with a converging line. I think, yes, the entrance line was potentially different, but the exit is one line, and it was exiting exactly where it would be normal pace, and bang, into the back of him he went. Yeah, that's a shame for Adam Watson.
It certainly is. It's thrown Pro-Am wide open now, because Will Guthrie, who's behind Bacon Zelenka, is now your leading Pro-Am driver through all of this. Gabriel Erdelai and Dennis Grabowski deciding now's the time to pit for those two drivers. But yeah, Will Guthrie now leading in Pro-Am as more cars onto pit road. Grabowski's car showing scars, but fortunately for the drivers, they do get that free fast repair. You only get one of them per race, but I think this is a track where these drivers will be thankful of that free fast repair.
Yeah, everyone will be very glad. I'm sure nearly all will use it in this race. It's so easy to just nip the wall and bend the steering, or so easy to end your race. So that then means we're a 1-2-3 for WSR Esports.
Yes, we certainly are, and that does mean that WSR in a strong footing in this first race. As Alex Davidson now pits, your race leader, onto pit road. So too does Ethan Critchley. Does Ross McFarlane follow them? No. Ross McFarlane stays out. Jonathan Walker is around, your AM Championship leader. Well, my goodness, we've got quarter of an hour left, and it's all kicking off now.
It is, yeah, it is indeed. It's not been a good day for Jonathan Walker so far, but Davidson in, Critchley in, Wolfson, William Guthrie in, and Ross McFarlane carries on at the front of the field still to stop. This is what happened to Jonathan Walker. Now, is that Ian Brown again?
Ian Brown.
Yeah, but you know, Ian Brown was minding his own business there. Jonathan tried to get the move done and just couldn't.
Yeah, so that was just a little bit too much speed whilst you're on the inside of another car. And Ian Brown, I wonder if he picked up damage from, oh, well, that'll pick him up damage from the, I wondered whether he got it from the tyre wall in that incident, as we've got more cars onto pit road as well. Mike Horder, Andy Archer, Josh Boots are on pit road as well. And yeah, when do we see our other leader now in Ross McFarlane coming onto pit road? And the answer is this lap. Well,
so is he going to be followed in by Axel Slipčević and Sedgwick, or are they going to crack on? They're going to crack on. So Slipčević goes through, Sedgwick goes through, Anders Meyer does not. He pits in the Mustang. So who is going to come out on top? I mean, you'd think that it's going to be Davidson because he had 6 seconds of an advantage.
You would imagine so, wouldn't you? I mean, even now, his advantage yep, nice quick pit stop there for Ross McFarlane. And Davidson, well, he's gone past him already. It's whether Ethan Critchley can get ahead of Ross. The answer is yes. Anybody else? Any other takers for getting ahead of Ross McFarlane? The answer is no.
So, just under 13 minutes to go then, and Slipčević carrying on with Sedgwick right in his wheel track. So they're your two leaders at the moment, but they're bound to come in shortly. But how much longer can they go on a tank? We've seen James Boumé pull off the great strategies in the altitude Audi. He sits in 7th at the moment, which should be around net 4th. In they come. Ooh, that was tight.
That was tight with a slow-moving car as well that was recovering after having a spin. Oh, here's Ben Altria. Car coming out of pit road, and that was one of the WSR cars coming out of pit road, and Altria. And this is what we said earlier, that the two lines between pit exit and the drivers going through turn 1 converges right on corner exit of turn 1, as Matthias Temme has a incident himself. Nathan Moore along with Slipčević and Sedgwick onto pit road for their stops, which means that Alex Davidson back to the race lead ahead of Ethan Critchley. And then Ross McFarlane in 3rd place ahead of James Boumé in 4th. Axel Slipčević, he's going to come out around 5th place. And then it's Jack Sedgwick in 6th, who's gained 3 places in this race, it must be said. Josh Thompson, remember earlier we said he was in 20th. He's only been able to get up to 17th after all the pit stops.
So it hasn't really worked out, has it?
Right as I say that, 16th now.
I stand by my former statement, officer.
Right, so as Jack Sedgwick flashing the headlights at some back markers, and who could blame him? He's got Gabriel Erdelai and Michael Evdoka right behind him. Sedgwick has actually pulled a blinder in that Ferrari, hasn't he? He's moved up into 6th. He was in 8th earlier on before the pit stop started.
Yeah, he was. He was. So, where is that? Has it shuffled the order? No, the order's stayed fairly steady, hasn't it? Through the pit stop cycle. And for Davison, if he can hang on now, this would be a great way. He'll extend his championship advantage. Came into this round 62 points to the good over Jack Sedgwick, who in turn has 13 points over James Boumé. And good run from Boumé as well. That's good strong points and keeps himself in the just about in the championship conversation.
Yeah, it certainly does. 4th place right now for Boumé, just ahead of Jack Sedgwick. So in fact there is James right behind former championship rival Ross McFarlane. It was these two had a ding-dong season, didn't they, when James won his championship along with Alex Davidson. And yeah, these two, it's not been too often we've actually seen them together on track this season, is it? There's been a bit of separation between the two in previous rounds, but it's good to see these two fighting it out once again. It is Porsche versus Audi out here. They've got a little bit of lap traffic ahead of them, and that is going to be Mike Barber, I believe, that's just working their way past. But yeah, McFarlane and Boumé as they go down through Shoreline Drive, through Bridgestone, down towards Toyota, and hit the brakes. Boumé not close enough to make any moves on Ross. To be honest, I can see Boumé sitting here and just picking up the points and try and take advantage of maybe a little bit of lap traffic.
Yeah, there's not a huge amount you can do when so evenly matched on pace. McFarlane and Boumé, you've got to have quite an overlap on pace to be able to make that decisive overtaking move. And like you say, yeah, an error like that. Traffic. Yeah, an error like that can give you an opportunity. And this time though, it happened to Boumé, which then gives McFarlane a really nice bit of breathing space there.
Yeah, that was lap traffic on the inside of that left-hander, and Boumé just had to get out of it. Ben Altria, by the way, does have a black flag right now. It takes quite an achievement around here to pick up incident points, but that is an incident point, black flag for Ben Altria. So he is going to have to take a trip through pit road and serve that penalty. Gabriel Erdelai right behind Jack Sedgwick as they go through Shoreline Drive once again. Time running out for these drivers if they do want to make any moves out there. And Erdelai just too far back from that Ferrari. When the Ferrari can stretch its legs through Shoreline Drive and Bridgestone, it can really stretch its legs. The problem is the rest of the track, that Porsche, is so good on brakes and corner exit, as you mentioned earlier, Peter.
Yeah, Gabriel Erdelai using, it's interesting, clipping first gear there coming out of turn 5. That's quite surprising. Oh, did he clip the wall there?
Yes, he did.
Oh my!
Ever so slightly. I mean, you've got to use every inch of the track, haven't you, to get the most out of it. You've got to have that confidence to be able to do that. But it's just one little error, turning in just half a second early, and you're clattering that wall and causing yourself race-ending damage. You are, and that's what makes Long Beach such a challenge, and I think so satisfying when it does go right. Full lock there coming out the hairpin. Whoa, big slide there on power from Jack Sedgwick. Oh, he did well to hang on to that, but that was big oversteer there for Sedgwick, and gives Erdelai an opportunity to get a bit of a run. In fact, a big run here. Here comes Erdelai. Can he make a move on the brake? Shows a little nose in the wing mirror on the left-hand side there, but decides against it, and Sedgwick hangs on. But that's the worst when you come out that corner and you feel the rear end go, and you know there's someone behind you. You know, they could get a run on me here. I've got to be careful. Erdelai's literally just making braille down the walls here of this track. He's rubbing every single wall. He obviously is not a fan of his paint scheme and wants to redesign it for the paint guy. So he's trying his best there as Gabriel as they go back onto Seaside Way. Once again, 5 minutes remain in this race. Alex Davidson ahead of Ethan Critchell and Ross McFarlane. Those are your top three. Pro-Am, surprisingly, Adam Watson, 11th placed. He is your top Pro-Am. And Michael Gray, another one who is somebody who had an incident earlier on in the race. He finds himself in second place in Pro-Am, 14th place overall, but only just ahead of Will Guthrie in 15th place. That's third place in Pro-Am. In Am, your top Am driver is, he says, urgently looking through his timing screen, is that Simon Andre Livingston in the number 2 car? I believe it is, as we've got side by side between Gray and Zelenka into turn 1. Oh, that's tight, but Zelenka holds on to it for the time being through turn 1. Yeah, Simon Andre Livingston is your top Am driver down there in 27th place. 29th is second place Am Ben Gregory, and then Jesse Payne Wilkins in 30th place rounds out your top 3 in Am. So yeah, plenty of drivers having good days, but I think it's just showing the nature of this track, Peter, that the Ams now, the top Am is 27th in this race.
Tells you all you need to know about the track, definitely. And you know, Adam Watson in 11th, despite having that hit from behind from McFarlane, he's still there, and still there in the lead of Pro-Am, despite that. So yeah, it shows you just how high the level of attrition has been, and yeah, how the pro drivers really come into their own round here. It really is a driver's circuit.
If ever there was a driver that you don't want to see in your rearview mirror, it's happening right now, because Will Guthrie has got Josh Thompson behind him in his Ferrari. Here we go again. Michael Gray looking to the inside of 1. Decides against it in the end, and Baker Zelenka stays ahead. But Josh Thompson, he can sniff a possible 13th place finish in the end here. And with the reverse grid, you do have number 10 as the smallest number, isn't it? So you want to get yourself as far up that top 10 as possible to give yourself the best odds of getting a good reverse grid draw.
Well, what's the reverse grid draw going to be, I wonder? Imagine a full reverse. Wait, that would be waking up and choosing violence, wouldn't it?
I'll get the safety car button ready.
Yes, you get that. You get that well lubricated, ready for deployment, if that's the case.
There are a number of drivers who have retired from the race, by the way. Richard Simner, Alex Gall has retired. We didn't notice that, actually. Looking at that, it's about 10 minutes ago. Ben Altria, Leander Engelvelt, Joe Newman, Paul Webster and Jack Osborne all retired from this race, along with Andy Jones. Taylor Lane and Nathan Healy did not take the start of this race, so 37 cars are still in rotation throughout this track right now. So I say that Ben Altria is retired. I think he is. I think he's decided to park the car. He has. So yeah, I was just wondering then. But Alex Gall, oh, here we go, and it's just a spin at the fountain. He's found the perfect parking spot at the fountain. Please don't say this is on a rejoin. Oh no, rejoin was fine. And yeah, it's just done. This is Ben Altria. This is what happened earlier. Bosh, into the wall.
Mally, was that into the side of Ross McFarlane there?
It was one of the WSR cars. I didn't catch
because there was an Audi behind him.
Oh, look at this car park.
No, it was Gabriel Erdelai. It was Erdelai.
Erdelai with a little touch on Dennis Grabowski. So contact between the two of them. Now we should be in theory, on the last lap of the race right now. So if you're going to make a move, you've got to make it stick. And Erdely darting left, right again, trying to distract, and Grabowski's into the wall. Oh my goodness, it worked. The distraction worked. Grabowski's into the tyre wall, and Erdely moves up a place into 7th.
The intimidation factor there, and yeah, just the slightest error from Grabowski, and that was it. Erdely got through, and Grabowski lucky to be able to crack on and only lose 1 position from that. But when he looks in his mirror, he's got Victor Wilson in that red and white Ferrari right in behind him, so he's got to be aware of that as we're on to the final lap.
Here's Victor Wolfson. That was hit the recovering car in front, but the race leader is going to come across the line. It's Alex Davidson, a dominant victory here for Alex. He takes yet another race win here in this season of the World GT Championship for WSR Esports Bookkicker, and what a race it was for WSR. First, second and third between their 2 teams. Here's Adam Watson though, your top Pro-Am driver, through the hairpin. We thought it was all done and dusted with him having that contact with Ross McFarlane. It's a case of what could have been for Adam Watson. He finishes there in 10th place overall, and Ben Gregory is crawling around the track because he's actually finished the race. Was he the top Pro-Am driver? Yes, so Andre Livingston was the top Am driver in the end of that one. He must have pulled over. He finished 27th in the end here. Well, we'll digest everything that's gone on there, but certainly not the most overtaking we've seen in this series, but still an intriguing race nonetheless.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Long Beach always, certainly always provides entertainment. It doesn't always have to be just overtaking. It's more watching the drivers really be put to the ultimate test and try to survive and try to avoid the mistakes. And as we saw, that is not easy at all.
Yeah, so we will be able to give you your provisional results in just a few moments' time, but the first thing that we've got to do is decide our reverse grid. As a very big mouse cursor comes on screen right now as we're trying to get you the reverse grid wheel. We will get it eventually. We'll just vamp for a little bit here, Peter, but I mean, you've called into being the full reverse grid. That's what you would like to see because you're a master of chaos. Realistically though, if you're Josh Thompson, you're wanting anything 16th or higher.
Ideally, yeah, ideally. That's what sitting there. I mean, because Josh Thompson with a clear view ahead of him, that's that's a prospect for him to pull away at the front of the field. So let's see what comes out of it. But oh yeah, a complete reverse. This is the one track where the drivers are like, please no. Please no.
You just know we're going to will it into nature. Right, here we go.
We're manifesting.
Reverse grid. Have we manifested a full reverse grid? Well, the answer's going to be no, because we've gone way past it. We've almost manifested another reverse grid, but instead it's 20th place is going to get a reverse grid pole position. So we'll be able to give you the provisional race results then from that race and give you what will be the pole position in just a moment. But Alex Davidson for WSR Esports Bookkicker, I think it went about as perfectly as it could do for him today. An 8.3 second lead then over his WSR Esports compactor of Ethan Critchley in second place. Ross McFarlane, third place. A good day for WSR Esports Bookkicker. Then Altitude Esports by 3M in fourth and fifth place of James Pume and Axel Slipčević. Jack Cedric, real good drive from him to move forward 3 places into 6th ahead of Gabriel Erdely, Dennis Grabowski, Victor Wolfson, and then your top Pro-Am, Adam Watson for Altitude Esports by Sim Stickers in 10th place. 11th for Michael Evdoka ahead of Anders Meyer and Bacon Zelenka. Michael Gray is his second place Pro-Am driver in 14th place overall. Third place Pro-Am, and 15th place overall is Will Guthrie, ahead of Josh Thompson, Nathan Moore, Jamie Rushworth, Mike Horder, and on pole position for Atomic Esports is Andy Archer. That Ferrari 296 will be taking pole position for race number 2. Chris Chatterton then ahead of Phil Samways and Ben Hackerson, with Matthias Temme, Josh Boot and Reece Saunders the last car on the lead lap. One lap down was Simon Andre Livingston in that Racing Lab Esports car. He finishes top in AM in his Ford Mustang ahead of Nick Kirstens. Then Ben Gregory second place in AM ahead of Jesse Payne Wilkins, 30th overall, third place in AM. Andrew Fairley in 31st ahead of Mike Barber. Adam Hedgecock, Jonathan Walker, Ian Brown, Ben Bennyworth and Harry Langford, the last of the lead drivers, on one lap down. And then those that had issues who retired: not Harry Langford, Richard Simner, Alex Gall, Ben Altria, Lander Engelvelt with Joe Newman, Paul Webster, Jack Osborne and Andy Jones. Taylor Lane and Nathan Healy did not take the race start. So that is how things went in this first race of the evening. We've got another race coming up for you in a few moments' time. How do you digest that first race then, Peter?
I think you can digest it with another fantastic performance from Alex Davidson. I mean, textbook, and that's not easy to do when you're the championship leader. You've got the target on your back, and you've got to deliver under the pressure, and that's exactly what Alex did. Very impressive indeed from him. I think Adam Watson will be pretty disappointed. Well, in one way he'll be happy to take the Pro-Am win, but he'll be disappointed that it could have been an overall podium and therefore a big chunk of points in the Pro-Am Championship. And yeah, it was a little clumsy from Ross McFarlane, I have to say.
Yeah, you do expect a full-time champion. It's the smallest of contacts, but around that corner, the smallest of contacts is all that it takes, isn't it?
It is. It doesn't need much at that particular point. So yeah, it can happen. So yeah, it's I can already see that it's being analysed in the virtual paddock.
Digested. We've got 3 Pro-Ams and then 2 Pros in the first 5 positions of the grid for race number 2. The guy in 5th place on the grid will be Josh Thompson, but Nathan Moore, he could be a good shout for the second race of the evening. But stick around, everybody, because in just a few moments time after these adverts, it'll be race 2 of the evening here in the World GT Championship.
all of them as well. What a move for the 48. Oh, look at this, and onto the straight they come.
Brilliant move there from the number 40 to make it through. That left-hander sliding up the inside, going up now over Hawthorne Hill, down Pilgrim's Drop, and it's brilliant stuff here at Brands Hatch.
Welcome back then to coverage of week number 7 of season 16 of the World GT Championship here on RaceSpotTV. Delighted to have your company, everybody. Paul Smith and Peter Mackay bringing you all of the action. We've got about 5 minutes until the next race, Peter. 20 cars, reversed grid. We saw how difficult it was to overtake out there. It's going to be interesting to see whether we could see a Pro-Am winner here in the second race.
Possible, it's very possible. Yeah, it's very possible, particularly at a track like this where it's very mixed. You know, it's very, very mixed up, and things can happen in the blink of an eye. So yeah, definitely possible. And track temperature starting to climb up a little bit, 40 degrees Celsius. That's going to make it very greasy and slippy because this isn't a high grip circuit at the best of times. So 40 degrees track temperature, that's going to make it pretty challenging.
We know one driver who is not enjoying seeing that right now. It's Josh Thompson, the man who told us that he wants nice cool weather for his Ferrari. When you start in 5th place, that is not what you want to be seeing as a track temperature.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. We've seen it. It really does affect the Ferraris for some particular reason. With that, I don't know if it's the turbocharged motor, the torque from that engine that makes it difficult to put the power down and get that traction out the corner. But for the Porsches and for the Audis, not such an issue for them.
So drivers are getting themselves ready for this second race of the evening. It's yet another race win though, overall for Alex Davidson. He won, was it a race at Zandvoort, he won one race at Jerez, and he won both races at the Autodromo Internacional Algarve. If ever there was a good start to a season and getting yourself some really good points for a championship charge, it's what we've seen from Alex Davidson.
It's been pretty much ideal, hasn't it, from Alex Davidson so far. I mean, this is going to be arguably the toughest challenge of the years of the season so far, because starting 20th, you are right in the epicenter of the potential risk going into turn 1 here at Long Beach. So he's just going to have, to be honest, have his fingers crossed, try and stay as safe as he can in those opening few corners and just try and get through it, because it's so tough through there and to keep out of trouble.
We saw how you mentioned it, qualifying is so important around here, with overtaking being so difficult. So with that reverse grid then, are we basically saying that Nathan Moore and Josh Thompson, they need to make those moves early, or can they maybe afford to wait a little bit and see if they can do things on strategy and move forward that way? Because they're only starting 4th and 5th place, those two pro drivers.
Well, what surprised me a little bit in race 1 was that there wasn't too big a shuffle out in strategy. That, you know, the drivers, when they came in, they came out in the same positions. We didn't see any big jumps or losses in strategy. So maybe with this reverse grid race, there's more chance for that to happen. But that did surprise me, actually, that there wasn't more of that kind of thing.
But of course, Alex Davidson, Pro Championship leader, he'll be starting at the back of the reverse, so 20th place. The thing that he needs to concentrate on is just keeping it clean this race, I think, isn't it? It's just keep it clean, get yourself some points on the board, and then move into next week at Spa.
I think that's the only goal here for Alex Davidson. He's got good pace, clearly. He showed that in race 1. So it's more of keep it clean, let the others make the mistakes, and yeah, let the attrition happen before and not force the issue too much.
Well, we did mention about how Adam Watson and Ross McFarlane had a little dust-up after Mazzano. They've then had a dust-up in this first race of the evening, but with that reverse grid, it does mean that Adam is starting a bit further forward. He's going to be starting 11th place on the grid. So at least he's got a few cars between him and Ross to act as a bit of the security. You know, like when the boxers face off and they start trying to get into each other and all the security come in. I imagine that's what those other cars between Ross McFarlane and Adam Watson are going to be acting like here.
I suspect so. Yes, I suspect so. I think it'd be fair to say that tensions are running on the higher side at this moment in time.
It's a good job it's a virtual paddock, let's just say that. Right, we are getting ourselves set for race number 2 of the evening here in the World GT Championship. On the 43 cars are going to be taking the start here, so we have lost a couple others after that first race. So on pole position then for Atomic Esports, it's Andy Archer with Mike Horder for Boosted Motorsport in second place in that front row. Row number 2 for Jamie Rushworth and Nathan Moore, with Josh Thompson and Will Guthrie on row number 3. Row 4 then for Michael Gray, Bacon Zelenka with Anders Meyer and Michael Evdoka on row number 5. The 6th row, Adam Watson and Victor Wolfson. Then it's Grabowski and Erdely sharing row number 7. Row 8 for Jack Cedric and Axel Sliptrovich with James Boumet and Ross McFarlane, row number 9. Row 10, Ethan Critchley and Alex Davidson with Chris Chatterton, Phil Samways on row 11. Row 12 for Ben Hackerson and Matthias Temme. 13th row for Josh Boot and Rhys Saunders with Simon Andre Livingston and Nick Kirstens on row number 14. The 15th row, Ben Gregory and Jesse Payne Wilkins with Andrew Fairley and Mike Barber on row number 16. 17th row is Adam Hedgecock and Jonathan Walker with Ian Brown and Ben Benworth on row number 18. Row number 19 for Harry Langford and for Richard Simner with Ben Altria and Joe Newman on row 20. 21st row for Paul Webster and Jack Osborne, and row number 22, all on his own, Andy Jones, rounding out your 43 cars taking the start of this race. Well, it's a great opportunity for Andy Archer, for Mike Horder and for Jamie Rushworth. Nathan Moore and Josh Thompson can maybe save something from this race. What can Jack Cedric, Sliptrovich, Boumet, McFarlane, Critchley and Davidson do from 15th down to 20th place in this race? We've got all to look forward to in this second race of the evening. 45 minutes with a pit stop in this one as well. Very quickly, Peter, have you got any predictions, or is it just a case of see what happens?
My prediction is this is unpredictable. It's a bit of a roulette, really. I think Josh Thompson's in a very good position. You've got to think that he's the favourite starting from here.
Well, the pace car pulls in, and we're now at the hands of Andy Archer. The green flag will come out momentarily. In fact, there it is, and away we go for race number 2 of the evening. It's a good start from Archer, a good start from Jamie Rushworth as well. He's going to be alongside Mike Horder as they're heading down towards turn number 1. Once again tonight at Toyota, hit the brakes, turn in, leave each other space, which they do. And then through the go into this tight section through the fountain. Will they all manage to get through this time? We didn't get everyone through last race, but so far so good here as we get to single file through the exit of turn number 5 down towards turn number 6, and drivers seemingly behaving themselves in this early stages, although Ben Gregory is dropping down the order. Also Michael Avdoka's had issues out there.
Not bad though. I mean, considering with a 20-car reverse grid, that's a really good effort from the drivers to get through that opening section nice and clean and give each other room, give each other space. Fantastic stuff. So they can settle in now, get into a rhythm. Oh no. Oh, what a disastrous day it's been for Ian Brown. He has just been in the wars all day. And it's an issue that's down at turn 8. That's Salonpas turn.
Yeah, so damage potentially for him. Harry Langford and Jack Osborne have taken a tour back to pit road. I do believe that Jonathan Walker as well is going to be another one taking a tour. Jack Sedgwick getting bullied by the WSR Porsches as they're going down through Bridgestone into Toyota, and it's almost 3 wide through there. Oh, there's a hit check there between Sedgwick and the car that's alongside him. That won't be McFarlane, that will be Alex Davidson. No, Critchley involved as well, as we've got more drama. That's Simon Andre Livingston into the tyre barrier in the fountain area. Hopefully not destroyed the gardening. But yeah, Jack Sedgwick giving the old hit check then to stay ahead of Ethan Critchley through all of that. And Davidson's made it past Critchley now.
So Davidson getting by his teammate, very important there to keep on moving up. Interestingly, Josh Thompson hasn't made any forward progress from his grid spot. That's a surprise. I would say that I would have thought that he would maybe have made a few moves up by now on some of the Pro-Am drivers, but not as yet. Davidson right in behind Jack Sedgwick.
Adam Watson's into pits. That's very early.
That's got to be an issue. Yeah, he's got damage on the right hand side of the car. Must have contacted one of the walls, and yeah, having to just trundle down pit lane, take his fast repair, and of course he will then need to well. Now, what was going on there?
I think he took a little splash of fuel.
Okay, but I didn't see the repair happening very. It's like he almost missed his box. Yeah, strange.
It has happened because his mechanical meatball warning flag has disappeared.
It's gone, okay.
Yeah. Paul Webster has a mechanical meatball warning flag, so it goes from bad to worse for one of the series admins and Pro-Am Championship contender Paul Webster. And that was all it took, the littlest of contacts. And that was what happened. Simon Andre Livingston messing up the flower bed there.
That's not good form at all. Not good form. Send him a bill.
Because motorsport isn't expensive enough. So that's what happened to Ian Brown. And it was one of those Mustangs that's further down. Either someone like I don't want to start saying names, and that's what happened on lap 1. There was a bit of a snarl up, but it was right towards the rear.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just the 4-car pile-up. We've seen bigger than that.
So it's Ben Gregory, making contact with the Porsche, and then you see the track was there was a way through, and then just flying into it, 2 cars, and you see you've got yellow flags showing. You've got a yellow flag showing. The stewards won't take too kindly to people coming flying into cars stopped, especially on lap 1.
No, and absolutely flat as well. And the thing is, you're almost down to a complete stop at the first lap out going around the fountain. So you have to see the yellow flag and then see people slowing down and then accelerate very, very hard. I mean, the thing is that in outdoor motorsport, if you were overtaking people under yellow flags, you'd get you'd get a big penalty. Here you could, the iRacing world, I think I do believe that would really help a lot of these incidents if iRacing could find a way where if you overtake with on a yellow flag, you are given a big penalty, whether that be a drive-through or whether it's a slowdown penalty or whatever. I think that would really make a lot of people think twice of just gunning it into crash situations.
We have lost Ethan Critchley, by the way. He is out of this race. He's parked the car about 30 seconds ago into pit road and he's left the server, so he's done for today, is Ethan. So I don't know what's happened to him whilst we were having a look at those replays from lap number 1 of this race. But Ethan Critchley, I like to say, on pace. Oh, and well, Peter, you mentioned it as one of those danger zones. Turn 8 has found a victim.
Yep, it's so easy done because you're trying to carry as much speed as possible onto Seaside Way along the back straight, and it's just very, very easy to just clip the wall, and that's it. That's frustrating. That's very, very frustrating.
Right, so at the front, we've still got Andy Archer leading. He's now got Jamie Rushworth behind him, who has gained a place over Mike Horder. But Horder is in 3rd place, so he's still involved in this. Nathan Moore and Josh Thompson are not really making any moves at all, as you mentioned, Peter. So that means that they're staying as they were. Michael Gray's moved up a place in this race, but they are catching backmarker traffic of Andrew Fairley, who was the one who had Ben Gregory make the move on him on lap 1 to spin both himself and Gregory around, and caused that big snarl up through turns 4 and 5. But if you're Andy Archer right now, you're thinking ahead is, oh, Andrew, just don't please just let me by. I want to concentrate at the front of this race.
Well, Andy doing a good job at the moment. 2 10s to the good from Jamie Rushworth, and well, we said it was going to be difficult for the Ferraris, but Archer managing it very well. This high track temperature that we've got, and the Ferraris struggled for traction all season, and he's holding it off really, really well.
He certainly is, out of the hairpin. It's just as you get further and further into this race, I think that is where these drivers will feel it more and more in these cars that are maybe affected a little bit more by that temperature. Got to be careful as well, dipping your tyres over the pit exit line into turn 1 when you're on track, because the iRacing service, if you go too far into that pit exit, will penalise you for that. So you've got to push the limits, but you can't just go over them there.
And that's where the practice comes in, and knowing exactly how much you can and cannot get away with, so that you can run that edge. Knowing where the edge is certainly helps for that. And I think Rushworth's getting a little bit closer. It's getting a bit racier here, but it has surprised me that we haven't seen Josh Thompson move up at all in the Ferrari. He's been in 5th position since the start of the race, so 10 minutes in, not making any forward progress.
And the problem for them is that this is all a big queue. Oh, there was a spinner in the background, and Bacon Zelenka's dropping down the order, so I only have to assume that it's Bacon Zelenka who's had the issues through the Indy left and through what's normally a car park, actually. And well, here we go, and it just touches that curb and it just spins away from him. That's
a shame for Bacon Zelenka in that altitude Audi. What a pity there. So through they go then, up the hill towards Takate turn 6. You just go over the crest, and you've got a little mark on the road there that you can use as a good braking point. That's the thing, is you're certainly spoilt for braking point references around here at Long Beach.
Yeah, just go past the nightclub. Yeah, that's get your order in for post race, and away you go. Grabowski and Boumet, they've been the ones on the move into the top 10, 9th and 10th places for them respectively, 4 and 7 places gained. Whereas McFarlane, Sedgwick, Davidson, they've not really been progressing forward in this race. So almost pretty much the same as Moore and Thompson, just not able to move forward right now.
No, they just seem to be a bit. They seem to be a bit stuck, don't they? Yeah, they seem to be very, very stuck. With 34 minutes to go, so might we see some early pit stops? We saw the first pit stop 31 minutes to go in race 1, so might we see some drivers deciding to throw the dice and try and break the deadlock a little bit, or are they better served just staying in this leading train and hoping to hoping to keep saving fuel? Are they all doing that? Are they all thinking about fuel saving right now and trying to jump and make a pass in the pit stop?
Well, I mean, that could well be a factor in all of this. Are Nathan Moore just hanging back and Josh Thompson hanging back, waiting for those three in front to make their pit stops, and then just use the extra fuel that they've got there to go a little bit longer, get a bit of clean air, but then also then have a shorter pit stop when they do eventually come onto pit road? The problem with that tactic, though, is that right here, Michael Gray, Will Guthrie, Anders Meyer, Dennis Grabowski, James Boumet, Victor Wolfson, Gabriel Erdelite and Ross McFarlane, they're all in a line here, waiting behind them, so they're not exactly gapping the other pros that they're fighting with in the Pro Championship. No, they aren't. It is good. It's interesting to see how consistent though Michael Gray has been in the Pro-Am class so far this year. He's always just thereabouts, isn't he? He's at the moment sitting in 6th place, came into this round with a good advantage with 61 points to the good. Yes, Adam Watson closed it down a little in race 1, but Michael Gray looking good right now, sitting 3rd in class, 6th overall. Yeah, he certainly is, and you hit the nail on the head. He's doing exactly what Alex Davidson is doing in the Pro Championship. He has just been consistently performing well, maybe not winning every Pro-Am race, but certainly being up there challenging and fighting for those top Pro-Am spots. I mean, you look at it, Mazzano, Michael Gray was the winner for Pro-Am in both of those races. Looking further back, Jerez, he was the Pro-Am winner in the first race there, and both races at the Algarve he won in Pro-Am as well. So it's been a very good season so far for Michael Gray. It's just keeping that momentum up and keeping the performance going, which sometimes when you have a week off like this series has every 3 weeks, so if you're just joining us here and you've never seen a World GT broadcast, basically they'll have 3 weeks of races and then they'll have a week off, and then 3 weeks of races and then a week off. We've just had that week off now with the mid-season break. We're now into that 3rd quarter of the season, and this is where championships can really take a head and narrow. Drivers down, there's a spinner in the background. Oh my goodness, was that Will Guthrie? No, it's not. It's Mike Horder. Mike Horder's dropping down the order, and the boosted car, which started on the front row of the grid, it's got damage to the rear. Was he helped? Oh,
I think he was losing it on his own, I think. I think he was. I think he'd caught the bump on the inside and the rear was starting to move away from him. Whether he was then helped the final rest of the way, I don't know. Let's have a closer look at it then. Horder.
He's had to back out.
Yeah. That's strange.
He was understeering. He was understeering on corner exit. He's backed out of it, and Nathan Moore has just gone bang into
straight in the back of him. Yeah.
And Josh Thompson is saying, thank you very much, because chaps, I've just gained 2 places. I'm up into 3rd now.
Yeah, that's now, that could change things. Now with Thompson with it clearly ahead of him, And yes, he did lose quite a bit of time there, though. He's got a couple of seconds now to try and catch back up again. And Rushworth will be looking in the mirror going, I need to get a move on here. But Andy Archer just holding him off at the moment. So they'll both need to be careful not to hold each other up. They need to just keep their heads down and keep forging forward.
I do want to mention, though, fair credit to Andrew Fairley, who has had to pit for repairs. He's not being overtaken by the leaders. He's keeping a good pace through all of this, is Andrew. Even though he himself had said in the YouTube chat before the start of the show that he wasn't liking this track.
Everyone sees the light eventually that Long Beach is great.
It'll take a lot of convincing for me, Peter.
Yeah, it's a guy. It's just great. I love it. Here comes Rushworth then. Move for the lead up the inside into turn one. Oh, Archer puts him in the fence and they tangle. Oh, they're both off. They're both off and through goes Thompson. Merry Christmas, Josh Thompson. Oh no.
Oh, be careful.
Oh, what are you doing?
Oh my goodness. And we're going to have a track blockage soon if we're not careful. Ben Hackerson. Oh, there's contact with Matthias Temme. And Jamie Rushworth trying to Austin Powers it now. We've got a spinner on the exit of the fountain. It was Temme who had, that was a mess.
So messy. So messy. Oh. What a shame there. And see, Rushworth's such a tricky one.
He's having to be slow because he's on that tight line, isn't he, on the inside?
It's such a tricky one because Archer saw the move coming, went to go for the kind of cutback by going out wide, trying to get on the power early, and then they just converged.
And then here's what happened to Temme, him and Ben Hackerson getting together, and then he's just lit it up on corner exit of the fountain.
Oh dear, well that shuffles the pack massively. So Thompson then leads from Nathan Moore. Michael Gray all of a sudden finds himself up on the provisional podium. Ian Brown has yet another spin. Oh, and slaps the rear end into the wall and bends. You can see the rear right bent out of shape there.
Andy Archer's onto pit road. I'm not surprised by that. Nick Kirstens is onto pit road. Mike Horder is onto pit road. I'm not surprised about that either. After his issues going on to the back straight of Seaside Way. So a number of drivers getting all caught up and involved in there. But what that means is that Josh Thompson is now your race leader, 0.6 of a second ahead of Nathan Moore. And Michael Gray, through not making any overtakes at all, now finds himself on a podium.
Well, that's it. That's Long Beach. That's what Long Beach does. You can really benefit you. You can, if you just keep that car out the wall, stay out of trouble, you can have a lot of stuff come your way. And look at Josh Thompson. He hasn't actually made any overtakes, and he was in 5th. He's now in 1st.
It shows patience. Ross McFarlane's onto pit road, so he's decided now's the time to get onto pit road because it is a long queue of cars at the front of the field right now. So you're talking back to the front 9 are all together on track. Here's Thompson's view of what happened, and he's, oh, thank you very much. And I bet he's glad that he came through at that point with Rushworth's car getting spun around as he was going past.
Yeah, it can, and you can get very unlucky here at Long Beach if you just come around the corner and there's an incident and you have nowhere to go. Yeah, very tricky, very tricky. 25 minutes to go then. Thompson leads. How have our front runners from race 1? How are they doing? Well, Davidson, he's up from 20th to 11th. I think he'll be very happy with that at this early stage.
And he'll be breathing a sigh of relief that he made it through that incident as well, going into the fountain. So he'll be delighted with that. Looking as well, Sliptrovic is in 12th. Victor Wolfson's decided to pit as well as Davidson. So Alex Davidson deciding that now's the time to pit and make that pit stop work for him. Do you know what? Everybody's a bit more grouped together than they were at this stage in race 1, and I think that's where this early pit stop, this race, could take advantage.
Possibly could. Yeah, possibly could. So let's see how it plays off then. It's car number 55 into the pits. Championship leader Alex Davidson in behind the Ferrari of Victor Wilson. So out of the pit lane they come. Oh, now who is this WSR Esports car coming into shot now?
McFarlane.
And McFarlane just slots in behind Davidson.
McFarlane was ahead, wasn't he? He was of Davidson. So that's a change of position there through the pit stops. Davidson about, what, 0.8 of a second quicker in the actual pit box itself. So a full second quicker cone to cone than Ross. So yeah, changes there. Grabowski, James Boumet, they're reacting to these two making their early pit stops. I think it's wise to react to them, because if these guys have got clean air, they could put in some really good laps.
They could, yeah. They've just got to get their heads down now, not fight with one another. I don't think they will, but I think that they've got potentially very, very good pace. Question mark is how good is the traction of that Ferrari? Have Victor Wilson's crew, have they got that dialed in? And look at that, just jump out the corner. Davidson all over the back of Wilson. The drive out the corner is just night and day. And has Wilson got a slowdown, or has he just said after you?
I think he said after you.
I don't believe it.
I've got to say, given how feisty we've seen Wolfson be in the past in these races, yeah, I'm surprised by that. Josh Booth has got a mechanical meatball warning flag right now, so he's obviously had a coming together with a wall. And Phil Samways, sorry to see you in the YouTube chat. He's enjoying a beer though after his PC died on the warm-up lap.
Oh well, every cloud.
There you go. Other beverages are available, and we cannot condone drinking and driving. That's why he's no longer driving. There we go. Right, anyway, as we go down Seaside Way, flash of the headlights there from Ross McFarlane on the car to his left. That's one of the Ferraris that's a bit further down the field. Car 35. That would be is that Ben Bennyworth, isn't it? Do you know what? We're halfway through the season, Peter, and I'm still learning car numbers. It's just because it's such a massive field, though. That's the thing. Yeah, so many cars in the field, which is great to see. It's great to see the championship so well supported. Well, I mean, even going into the first race of the night, 47 drivers signing up for that first race. Okay, 45 took the start, but that's still an incredible amount of drivers, considering we're at the halfway point of the season, where naturally you do get some drop-off of drivers in a championship like this.
You do, yeah, and that's why it's so good to see the continued support. I think that's a very good point, is that the drivers keep turning up, week in, week out, and keep the championship going. That's very, very important. So great to see it so well supported, as always. So 20 minutes to go then, and we wait with bated breath as the leading car who has taken a pit stop is taken a scheduled pit stop is Dennis Grabowski, actually, ahead of Boumet and Davidson.
Yeah, I was just seeing that, and I think it was crucial that Boumet came out ahead of Alex Davidson in these pit stops, and we've seen that Boumet does have some pace in that Altitude Esports Audi, and Grabowski, well, he's going to certainly put up a good showing here, because don't forget, he's 5th in the Pro Championship, so he's not out of the hunt of a Pro Championship either. At this stage of the season, it's wide open is that Pro Championship. Yes, Davidson's got a good lead coming into this week, but you know, never say never. Someone like Denis Grabowski, former World Championship license holder, he can turn it on and put in some good performances.
No reason why not. No reason why not with a good second half of the season. Anders Meyer into the pits then in the Ford Mustang with 19 minutes to go. So we're well into the second half of the race now. Thompson hasn't pulled away from Nathan Moore. The gap's still very tight there, so any little error in the pit stops and could be an opportunity for Moore and indeed Michael Gray. He's only a second and a half off the lead as well. Third place overall and leading in the Pro-Am class.
Would you like some Silver Salva talk?
Yes, always.
So let's compare Josh Thompson's last average lap time over 5 laps is 1 minute 19.889. Compare that to I'm just trying to pick somebody who has pitted, who has done more laps than that. I mean, you compare that to Ross McFarlane, actually is on lap 6 of his stint, 120.716. Now, has been in a little bit of traffic as well, and he's in that queue of traffic that we're looking at right now. So yeah, the 19s, it's the late 19s, early 20s that we're looking at for the pace here of the top drivers, and Thompson is just the fastest driver, although I say that his now average has gone down to a 19.771, so he's getting quicker as that fuel burns off.
So he's not fastest through so far. Not yet.
Nathan Moore's last lap actually was a 19.726. He is not the fastest lap of the race. I believe that's going to be... Is that Jack Sedgwick who's got the fastest lap of the race? No, it isn't actually. It's James Boumé. A 19.329.
So the altitude Audi hooking up well on the twists of and braking zones of Long Beach. Nathan Moore just still keeping tabs on Josh Thompson, and it's just so bumpy and helter-skelter like around here. This obviously is completely flat, but it's just so bumpy. Oh, is Cedric going to try and go around the outside of Gabriele Ardella? Can he get it on the inside now of the hairpin? Yes, he can, but can he complete the move? They touch almost inevitably. Cedric, Ardella nips into the pits. Amazing. Brilliant.
That could have gone so wrong for Ardella though as well.
Badly.
Let's talk about luck, because that was close between those two, and with Ardella going onto pit road. He's taking his pit stop now, but that slowed down Sedgwick a little bit. And you look at the gap now. Thompson, Nathan Moore, Michael Gray, Will Guthrie, they're separated by about 2.5 seconds. And then there's about 5 seconds back to Jack Sedgwick, where that hull of Grabowski, Boumé, Davidson, Meyer, Wolfson, McFarlane, they're all missing from that gap there. Erdely's on pit exit. Where's he going to feed in to all of that gaggle of cars? And the answer is going to be feeding in behind Victor Wolfson and Ross McFarlane then, as there he is out of pit exit. And it's so tricky as that pit exit. I know we keep on mentioning it, but it is.
It's awkward. It's very, very awkward. Yeah, so easy to get tangled up there. So Thompson pushing on. Gap staying very steady at the front of the field. As I say that, Nathan Moore into the pit, so he blinks first. So Nathan Moore's got to get that in and out of the pits as quick as he possibly can.
Thompson's just coming upon some traffic right now, actually. Looking at my track map. That could well be the difference between Nathan Moore and Josh Thompson. Moore then on pit road in the box, 9.9 seconds I'm showing at a standstill. That's actually one of the longer stops here in all of this. Thompson though, what can he do? You would imagine he's going to react this lap and come at the end of this lap, surely.
You'd think so. Yeah, you would think so. Just to cover it off as Nathan Moore rejoins and rejoins into a little bit of traffic. It moves out the way. One of the full tilt Audis is all biff. Through comes Dennis Grabowski, and Bume is going to try and follow through as well, as is the Porsche there, as is everybody, yes, as championship leader Alex Davidson too.
Oh, poor Ben Altria, just minding his own business, is yet to pit, and just absolutely gets bullied out the way. He moved out the way kindly for Nathan Moore, and then Grabowski goes, "Ooh, mine," and just dives to the inside, Bosch out the way, and then the rest of them just followed him through all of that.
We'll move from one of the Ferraris at the back. That's that Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wilson goes through in the Ferrari. He doesn't look to be. I think that's him more going past. No, actually, just going past Altria. So it wasn't really a pass as such. So, yeah, Wilson looks a little bit off colour in this second half of the race, I must say.
We have got Matthias Temme, Jack Osborne and Bacon Salenka all with mechanical meatball warning flags. Their days are done. They were Temme was involved in that Turn 1 incident. Well, the fountain he was involved in. Here's Ben Altria then. Here's the view that he has. So he moves out the way for Nathan Moore, and then Grabowski goes bang.
Yeah, doesn't want to waste any time. Then Bume says thank you very much. Then Davidson through. So still heading right into the latter part of the race now, and I'm still the top 9 are yet to pit, so they're running it as deep into the race as possible. So that means then that says to me that Nathan Moore felt like he could have gone quicker because he pitted early. You know, he could have gone longer then. So that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Ben Hackson and Chris Chatterton and Richard Simner all onto pit road right now. So that's 3 more that orders a pit stop onto the pit box and to get their pit stop done. So 6 drivers still owes a pit stop. Josh Thompson, Michael Gray, Will Guthrie, Jack Sedgwick, Axel Sliptrovich and Jesse Payne-Wilkins are the 6 that owe us a pit stop. 2 seconds separate, or 1.8 seconds, sorry, separate Josh Thompson and Michael Gray. Will Guthrie still loitering with intent with Michael in all of this, and Jack Sedgwick a little bit further back, Axel Sliptrovich further back still. It's going to come down to Thompson and Nathan Moore, you would imagine. The gap between the 2 of them, it's John Thompson pits along with Michael Gray, so they're making their pit stop now. Will Guthrie's onto pit road, Jack Sedgwick as well. They're all heading onto pit road now, Peter. This is a time where we get to see who comes out on top.
Well, the race on pit road begins then as Josh Thompson comes in, no tyres being taken, just in, splash of fuel and go, and you've only got 11 minutes left, so it won't need much fuel in that tank of that Ferrari 296 GT3, but through down the hill is coming Adam Watson in the 291 Audi.
Yeah, where's he appeared from?
Yeah, he's sneaky.
Oh, well, he's not. No, he's pitted already, but
he's
that
already
was for
pitted.
damage.
That's correct.
Yes,
he's still to pit. That's right. That he's still got his scheduled stop to pit. That's very true.
Michael Gray almost, and I say almost, jumped Nathan Moore, but Moore, Grabowski, Bume, Davidson have all bullied their way past Michael Gray. So Gray's been tumbling down to 7th place. And yes, as here we go, there's Michael Gray then on the top screen, Josh Thompson on the bottom screen. So Thompson is the net leader of this race, with Adam Watson. I would imagine Watson's just going to go as long as possible and pit for a splash and dash right near the end of the race, but that'll still cost him about 35, nearly 40 seconds to traverse the pit lane. So not been a good day for Adam Watson here, even though he did win the Pro-Am class in race number 1 of the evening, involved in 2 accidents here today, has Adam Watson. In fact, there goes Watson onto pit road right now for his final pit stop. But Josh Thompson with a healthy lead then over Nathan Moore as they come through across the line. Thompson is about 4.4 seconds clear of Nathan Moore, but Moore has got a whole train of cars behind him, led by the rampaging Dennis Grabowski.
You'd have to say that Nathan Moore was maybe just pitted that little bit early, and it's not really played into his hand at all. He has still maintained second position, but he's now under big pressure from Grabowski in the blue and yellow altitude Audi with his teammate James Boumé right in behind. Then it's Alex Davidson rounding out the top 5, and Michael Gray, leader in the Pro-Am, in 6th. And I tell you what, for Michael Gray, if he can hang on to that position, he'll come out of Long Beach with an extended Pro-Am championship advantage.
Adam Watson has come out of the pit lane in 16th place, so actually it's not the entire disaster that it could have been for Adam. He's only lost 5 places from where he started. I'm sure he'll be thinking otherwise right now and disagreeing with me, but it could have been a whole lot worse for him, could that positioning after that second pit stop of the day. So Josh Thompson leading Nathan Moore and Dennis Grabowski. That's the top 3 in Pro. As we mentioned, Michael Gray is your top Pro-Am in 6th place. His 2nd place Pro-Am, Will Guthrie, 9th place overall. And Ben Hackerson, he's only just come back to the series this season, and he's founded himself in a Pro-Am podium in 14th. Jesse Payne Wilkins is your top Am in 19th place, with Ben Altria, even after all that bullying effort, as 25th, and Simon Andre Livingston 27th. Those are your top 3 in Am in this race as well.
So 7.5 minutes to go, and can Nathan Moore hang on to the second position? You've got to think the Altitude Audis are determined to try and score some points, try and get some sort of a jump on Alex Davidson. If you're Alex Davidson there in 5th position, well, I mean, do you need to take a great deal of risk? I don't think you do. I think you're in an ideal spot, having started 20th up in the top 5. Pretty dream situation, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, what did I say at the start of the race, didn't I, Peter? I said he'll be just happy scoring some good points and keeping it clean this second race. Well, he's getting some really good points here, and his championship rivals, they're not gaining that much on him. I mean, Jack Sedgwick, he's behind James Boumé. He's one place ahead, so there's not really that much being gained. Josh Thompson, yeah, he's leading the race, but his first race was pretty turgid, down in 16th place finish in race 1. Grabowski, 2 places ahead. His championship rivals are either behind him or within sight.
You know, when you use the word turgid, it's never good. Turgid is just, when you say it's turgid, it's like you kind of know. You know what that means, don't you?
Yes. As we go through 6 minutes remaining, do you know who I have to blame for that, by the way, for that word? It's yourself, Peter.
Turgid.
You're the one who introduced it to my vocabulary.
I think it's a great word, actually. You know what? There's no dubiety when you use the word turgid.
Oh, there's a move further back, dive to the inside of James Boumé. That was Alex Davidson making the move. He's not held on to the position though, but that was a signal of intent. And Michael Gray, well, he's getting involved in this. He's got to run on Alex Davidson right now, but I think Gray has decided, you know what, this isn't my fight. I'm in a good spot right now.
Very wise indeed. Just pick up in the Pro-Am class, William Guthrie's a couple of seconds back down the road, so yeah, Michael Gray can just afford to just back it off a little bit and just not take any risk. I was surprised to see Alex Davidson having a go there. All of our talk about, oh yeah, he can just pick up the points. No, he's going for it.
Well, he's a racer, isn't he, Alex?
Yes.
He's not shying going forward, so definitely he's certainly going to make a move. If he sees an opportunity, he will take it. So, as they go down Seaside Way once again towards Firestone Turn, it's a tricky corner, this one. You can launch the car over the curbs if your car is good at dealing with the bumps, and to be honest, around this track you just need something that is good with the bumps. It's almost on the level of Sebring, isn't it? Not quite, though, in my opinion, in terms of the bumps. I think Sebring has the speed and bumps.
It's not far away from Sebring. Yeah, I think bumpiness is the same. It's just not as quick, so they feel less. But yeah, I think it's every bit as bumpy as Sebring. It's tough, and I think obviously at Sebring the walls are close there, but they're not as close as here, obviously. Yeah. So yeah, it's a tough challenge.
Do you know what? I always remember. So I got introduced to IndyCar through Nigel Mansell going through to IndyCar back in 1993, and I always pick out and remember this track, and I would love to race around this track. I then have had the ability to race around the track and realised I'm not cut out for this track, but it is one of those iconic venues where a street circuit. Certain street circuits do it for me, and I would love to go to a race at some street circuits. This is one of those tracks that I'd love to attend and watch a race.
Well, the good thing is it's normally a double header with IMSA and IndyCar together, and usually Porsche Carrera Cup North America. So you've got, when it is a full weekend of action at Long Beach, usually a 100-minute sprint race for IMSA, and it's usually a fantastic race where it's always a little bit of a roulette on how the safety car goes, and if you get caught out with that, and if you play the safety car well. I mean, back in 2007, Team Penske with their Porsche RS Spider were not on the pace of the Andretti Green Acura of Dario Franchitti and Brian Herta, but they played the safety car right. They did one pit stop less than everyone else, and they won the race. The same thing happens with, again, Team Penske again with their Porsche 963 last year it was, where again they didn't have the pace, but they played the strategy right. So it's a place where you really can play tricks with the strategy.
Certainly is, and we've seen strategy play at hand here, but it's not really had that bigger effect, I don't think, as strategy for these teams today. Thompson still with that 4.4 second lead over Nathan Moore. Moore has actually been closing up, to be fair, to Thompson. Is Thompson just driving a little bit within himself to keep it out the walls, whereas Moore's having to really drive the wheels off of that Porsche to stay ahead of Denis Grabowski as they come across the line, which should be 2 more laps left in this race as they go through Shoreline Drive, through Bridgestone Turn, and heading down towards Toyota once again. But Grabowski, he's just not quite got that edge, has he, to be able to make a move?
No, not quite, it seems. But yeah, it's still a strong showing from Grabowski, you'd have to say. He's been quick, and well, tell you what though, he doesn't appear to be giving it up. Right there on the back of Nathan Moore with just around a minute to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just a huge queue of cars behind Nathan Moore. Although Michael Gray has dropped back a little bit. Grabowski to the inside of 8. Can he make that move stick now? Moore gets onto the power earlier on the outside line. That could pay dividends, but it's got Grabowski and now Boumet coming along to the inside into Firestone Turn. Grabowski makes the move stick. That is a really, really ballsy move into Turn 8.
Well, into second place then goes Grabowski, and Moore immediately loses several car lengths as Grabowski chases away, and James Boumet now will smell blood as they go on to the last lap. How much is Boumet prepared to risk to gain a couple of extra points in the championship?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's it. It's a risk. I think Grabowski is always that driver who will take that risk. But Boumet, he's usually a little bit more calculated. We have seen him pull off some sensational moves in this championship. But then again, you could pretty much say that about all of your top 10 right now as they go through the left-hander and then onto the power. Car always wants to push out wide, get the car over to the left-hand side, brake into turn 8. Boumet's not close enough to make the move into turn 8, almost kisses the wall on the exit of turn 8. I don't think he's making that move, and no, he's not close enough. So we head towards your leader, and Josh Thompson, he's made this reverse grid work for him. He didn't have to make a single overtake to get the lead, but once he was there for keeps. And Josh Thompson is a race winner once again here this season in the World GT Championship for Team Redline. Across the line in second place is Dennis Grabowski and Nathan Moore in third. Michael Gray is your top Pro-Am, 6th place overall. Fantastic result for Michael Gray. Jesse Payne Wilkins will be your top Am driver, I do believe, because Jesse's in 19th. There we are. There's Jesse in that full tilt competition car, heading towards the hairpin for the final time, and it'll be an Am win for Jesse Payne Wilkins, and that'll help Jesse's championship charge here this week here in the World GT Championship. But my goodness, Peter, that second race of the evening, that was a bit spicy at times, wasn't it?
It did. It lived up more to the Long Beach reputation, didn't it? yeah, pretty spicy in places. Great stuff from Michael Gray in 6th to win that, to win the Pro-Am class. And Jesse Payne Wilkins, well, after the disappointment of race 1, what a way to bounce back.
Has Andrew Fairley run out of fuel? I think he's going to get a push here. I think Andrew Fairley has run out of fuel. Yeah, there's a car pushing Andrew Fairley, and fair credit to get him across the line. Andy Jones pushing him over the line then to take that final place, and a big grin on the face there from Andrew. Yeah, wasn't his day at all, and it all started in that second race, lap 1, contact with Ben Gregory, and that saw him down towards the rear. Let's take you through your provisional race results here for race number 2 of week 7 of the World GT Championship. Josh Thompson then, winner by 4.8 seconds over Dennis Grabowski. The Team Redline driver will be delighted with that after his, by his own admission, poor qualifying for race number 1. Nathan Moore ahead of James Boumet and Alex Davidson in 5th. Michael Gray for Full Tilt Motorsport is your winner in Pro-Am, 6th place overall. He'll be delighted with this second race. Anders Meyer, Victor Wolfson, Will Guthrie 2nd in Pro-Am, 9th overall, with Ross McFarlane in 10th. Gabriel Erdelai, Jack Sedgwick and Axel Sliptrovic finish 11th, 12th, 13th. Ben Hackerson finishes on the podium then in Pro-Am and finishes 14th overall ahead of Adam Watson, Rhys Saunders, Chris Chatterton and Richard Simner. Jesse Payne Wilkins for Full Tilt Competition takes the win in Am ahead of Joe Newman in 20th place. 21st for Mike Horder with Mike Barber, the two Mikes together. 21st, 22nd ahead of Andy Archer and Jamie Rushworth. Ben Altria finishes off the Am podium. No, he doesn't. He finishes 2nd place in Am in 25th overall. Nick Kirsten's 26th ahead of Simon Andrea Livingston. 3rd place in Am, 27th overall ahead of Ben Bennyworth, Paul Webster and Andy Jones. Then it is Ben Gregory, Adam Hedgecock, Jonathan Walker and Andrew Fairley getting pushed across the line to finish this race. Harry Langford 2 laps down and the rest did not finish. Bacon Zelenka, Josh Boot, Matthias Temme, Ian Brown, Jack Osborne, Ethan Critchley, Michael Avdoka and Phil Samways there did not finish the race. hopefully he can get his microphone switched on for us, because Josh Thompson is sitting around for an interview. We'll drag him in and hopefully he can get his microphone sorted and on for us here to be able to speak to him. And here he is, race winner with Peter Mackay.
Josh, it's a win here in the World GT Championship at Long Beach. How does that feel?
Hollow victory. Yeah, great to go the win in race 2. Shame that Davidson still managed to gain 15 and James gained 15, so kind of, you know, makes race 1 result a bit more impactful in the championship, if that would make sense. Is where it is, but yeah, at least I got a win. It kind of makes up for how bad the evening started.
Now, we've talked a few times about traction in the Ferrari this season in the World GT Championship. Is it getting any better? You get into the bottom of it. Is there anything that you're able to do to improve that? How are things going on that side?
No, is the answer to that one. As you probably saw tonight, like in qualifying, there's pro-ams in the Audi who can out-qualify us in the Ferrari on a good lap. I did a perfect practice, did a perfect qualifying lap, and it was like 4 tenths off. And just in the final sector, just got no drive off the corner at all. Like even in that race where you saw, as soon as I tried to push, I nearly spun twice in the final corner with it. It's just really, I don't know, it's just really weird to drive at the moment in the car. It's quite hard actually. Like, I didn't expect it to be this hard. So yeah, I know we've got a few tracks coming up. Spa I'm looking forward to, and Le Mans. If I struggle there, then I have basically, it'll be really hard to even get close to the Porsche Championship.
Well, yeah, 2 iconic tracks coming up. Looking forward to those as well. Championship-wise, Josh, you know, there's a lot of you in the mix there as well. How do you expect it to play out over the next few rounds?
I think, from my side, I think the next 2 rounds basically determine if I've got a chance or not. With me having, I missed Anvil because I was really sick. I couldn't get out of bed for 2 weeks. So I missed that round. Obviously had a bad one at Misano with messing up qualifying again, then not scoring in race 1. So to me, if I don't make an impact for the next 2 races, I like win and clean, like no off track, just get everything I physically can, then it's going to be a bit tough. But you never know. It's World GT. All it takes is 1 bad race and you're back in it. But at the moment, it's going to be hard.
Well, we can't wait to see how it plays out. Josh, congratulations on a great win there in race 2, and good luck for next week.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Peter. Next week, Spa-Francorchamps for the 3rd of our endurance rounds of the championship. I mean, it's an iconic venue, and it's one that's had a recent refresh as well in terms of how it looks, but also positions of gravel traps and things like that. That might catch a few of the drivers out here.
Possibly, yeah. It's going to have a different feel to it, I'm sure. So yeah, the drivers got to get the laps in, but the overall layout, the corners, their character. This is one of the most familiar tracks in the world for both outdoor racers and virtual racers. So can't wait till we get to the Ardennes Forest next week.
Yeah, we've only got 1 week to have to wait to be able to see that. But that's all that we've got time for here today. So thank you very much for joining us. Myself, Paul Smith, Peter Mackay, both on commentary. Hugo Luis behind the scenes here on production for you. Make sure you join us in 1 week's time for the World GT Championship Endurance Round at Spa. Until then, it's good night.